Have you ever walked into school feeling tired, yawning, or wishing you could just crawl back into bed? Most of us have, in fact. For many teenagers and young adults, feeling exhausted is so normal that we barely even think about it anymore. We joke about staying up late, and we brag about running on only a few hours of sleep, and we treat tiredness like it's just part of being in college. But what if I told you that this normal level of tiredness is actually hurting our bodies, our emotions, and our ability to do well in school? As a college student, sleep affects everything that we do: our mood, our performance in class, our energy levels, and even our long-term health. Whether we realize it or not, the amount of sleep we get each night plays a huge role in how we feel and what we're capable of each day. I chose this topic because I've noticed a difference between the days when I sleep well and the days when I don't. After researching how sleep affects us, I learned how important it actually is. Today, I want to persuade you that young adults and college students should get 8 to 10 hours of sleep every night. Getting the recommended amount of sleep that can improve your physical health, strengthen your emotional well-being, and help you perform better in school. First, I'll explain how sleep affects the body. Second, I'll show how sleep impacts our emotions and mental health. And third, I'll discuss how sleep affects our focus, memory, and performance in school. So let's start with the basic. Teens are supposed to get 8 to 10 hours of sleep every night. That's not just a suggestion, the official recommendation from the American Academy of Sleep Medicine. But how much sleep are teens actually getting? Most students only sleep 6 to 7 hours a night, and even some less. This means that many of us are losing 2 to 4 hours of sleep every single night. It might not seem like a big deal, but over time, that sleep shortage adds up and creates serious problems. I will show you a graph that I made. The recommended amount of sleep for average teens and college students is about 9 hours. And right here shows you the average amount of sleep that we actually get, which ranges about 6 to 7 hours, which is a big deal for us because it really does affect us. One important thing sleep does is help the body repair itself while we're sleeping. Our immune system gets stronger. That's why people who sleep well tend to get sick less often. When you cut back on sleep, your body doesn't have enough time to fully recharge, and this weakens your immune system. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention, also known as the CDC, explains that sleep can increase stress, cause weight gain, and make us more likely to get sick. Lack of sleep also raises the risk of long-term health issues later in life. So even though staying up late might feel harmless, it can actually have a really physical consequence on us. Now that we understand how sleep can affect our bodies, let's look at how it influences our mental health and our emotional health. Sleep just doesn't affect our bodies, it affects our brains too. The National Institute of Health says that sleep helps regulate our emotions. This means that when we don't sleep enough, the parts of our brain that control mood don't work as well. Think about the last time that you were really tired. Were you easily annoyed? Did small things bother you more than usual? Well, that's because lack of sleep increases irritability, anxiety, and stress. When college students and teens are tired, everything feels a little bit harder. Schoolwork, dealing with people, managing responsibilities, and even simple conversations seem harder. On the other hand, when we get enough sleep, we have better self-control, more patience, and a calmer mindset. Even 1 extra hour of sleep can make a big difference in how you feel the next day. Sleep also plays a major role in our mental health. Chronic sleep is linked to higher risks of depression and anxiety. This doesn't mean sleep is the only cause of the issues, but it does mean that getting better sleep can help reduce the symptoms and make them more manageable. When you put all of this together, it becomes clear that sleep is necessary, not just for staying awake, but for staying stable, balanced, and mentally healthy. Once we understand how sleep both helps our bodies and minds, we can see how it directly affects something everybody cares about: their performance in school, your performance at work. Sleep and school performances are connected in more ways than most students realize. The first way is focus. A tired brain can't pay attention, as well as a rested brain. When you're sleepy in class, it's harder to listen, harder to follow instructions, and harder to stay engaged. Even if you think you're functioning fine, your brain isn't performing at its best. The second major benefit of sleep is memory. When we sleep, our brains organize and store the information we learn during the day. This process is called memory consolidation. Without enough sleep, the brain struggles to keep new information, which means studying becomes less effective and a little harder to remember. Well-rested students also perform better on tests and assignments. Studies show that sleep improves problem-solving skills, creativity, and decision-making. That means if you're choosing between staying up late or studying or getting a full night's sleep, sleep is actually the better choice. A lot of students believe that grinding late at night will help them get good grades, but the truth is that a tired brain cannot learn well. You might want to spend hours studying, but without sleep, you'll remember less and think more slowly. Going to bed earlier can actually make you perform better than staying up late. To help, teenagers should get more sleep because it benefits their physical health, their emotional well-being, and their school performance. Sleep strengthens the body, helps the mind stay balanced, and improves your memory and focus. Without enough sleep, we struggle more than we need to. So here's my challenge to everyone. Try going to bed just 1 hour earlier tonight. 1 hour might not sound like much, but it can make a huge difference in how you feel tomorrow. You might be surprised by how much your mood, energy, and focus become after giving the body the rest it needs. Sleep is one of the most simplest and powerful ways to improve your life. So give your body and your mind the chance to recharge. You deserve it. Thank you.